All right, what's up, people? Hopefully, this will be interesting. You never know. And this actually came to me after thinking about a criticism that I made of Tom in one of my more recent videos about him being over reliant on psychology. But it got me to thinking that even though I think psychology is largely bullshit, and I'll explain to you why in a second, it's the most bullshit, quote unquote, science, but it's also, from another angle, the most fundamental of sciences. And I'm using science in inverted commas or quotes or scare quotes, depending on which aisle you come from. But the idea is this, is that psychology is basically the, there we go again, science of the determination of the individual, as opposed to sociology, which is the individual interacting with other individuals, etc. Anthropology. We can go from, it's the most base level of trying to understand why certain individual, every individual is individual. There are no two people, even amongst identical twins, that have exactly the same thoughts at exactly the same. I know they're more connected, but you know what I'm saying. So what makes an individual that individual? Not just an individual, that's philosophy. But what makes that individual that particular individual? And then you'll get into stuff like nature versus nurture and those kind of things. But you're trying to figure out why somebody is the way they are. Now, let me tell you why this is both bullshit and the most fundamental thing. It's bullshit because that's almost impossible given the fact that there are like, what is it now, 8 billion people on planet Earth? There's not going to be a single theory that accounts for all of that. Not even on the abstract, if that makes any sense. So you can't really, like, one of my favorite subcategories within psychology is something called theory of personality. And what it tends to do is it tends to take like an overarching view of like, this is kind of the way it works in general, but there are very, specific. I love it, but I still think even when they include certain things, like, for example, if you were to say, I forget what the name of the tribe is, but it's a tribe in Africa. They call them the Bushmen of the Kalahari, but I think they actually have a name for their tribe, which I wish I knew to give respect to. But they're the ones that use all that click language shit. You know what I'm saying? And they hunt with spears and everything else. I think they might have a different theory of personality than, let's, for example, say, I don't know, upstate New York. Or just pick a place. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Riyadh, right? I got that right? I don't really think you can. I got to blow on my screen. This booger's killing me. It wasn't a booger. I couldn't have blown a booger off. It was something else. A piece of lit marijuana, not lit, ash of a marijuana bowl or whatever. Who the fuck knows? So what I'm saying is, it's almost impossible to come up with a completely coherent, system of psychology. But at the same time, it's the most fundamental thing, because without the self, then how do we explain things like language? Or, just derive through language, and then you can move through things like music, the arts. I mean, that's a good argument. Whether music was prior to language or language was prior. I think music was prior. But I think they kind of came up around the same time. And this is way before Homo sapiens, in my opinion. I don't fucking know. But the thing is, all the things that we value, for example, science, for example, the arts, for example, sporting, for, all of these things, even like our theoretical and philosophical concepts of the world, they all depend on individual psychology. So, like, I'll just give you one example. Let's just pull up a philosopher. We'll call him, I don't know, David Hume. David Hume is probably one of the favorite philosophers of, I would say, most atheists and a lot of very rational thinkers. He's one of my top 5 easily. He had this idea that he was a pure empiricist, meaning that you know everything comes through sense data or some kind of like arrangement of that. Now, regardless of what his philosophy was, where did that come from within him? Where did he get those ideas from? Well, obviously, it was because he had interacted with other philosophers before him, right? But it also had to come from someplace deep within. Oh, wow. I didn't ask for that. Oh, shit. They're dropping the JFK files. They already dropped them. It's just like it's so big. Everybody's like got all the legal scholars looking through this shit. But so what I'm saying, in politics, look at politics and just look at the personalities. So while psychology is an impossible field and it's fraught with fucking things like penis envy and all this other bullshit, at the same time, if it existed in some coherent form, it would be the most basal of all understandings, prior even to metaphysics, because where do you think metaphysics comes from? The mind of an individual. So take that, Tom. This is a love letter to you, man. Hope everything's okay. Again, anything I can do for Lisa, man, just let me know. I got 1K for you, buddy. Seriously, pay that deductible. It's no fucking pride, man. Fuck it. Anywho, so that's my video on psychology. Oh, that was fuck Gurdjieff, man. You know what I'm saying? Fuck Gurdjieff. He can take his like enneagram or whatever the fuck he calls it, and his fucking fourth way and all that, whatever the fuck, he can take all that shit and shove it up his own ass. Oh wait, I'm sorry. He's dead. We can find a skeleton somewhere, I'm pretty sure. I'm kidding. I should edit that last part out. I can't have Jorge do it. I have him locked up in the fucking basement in chains. All he does all day long is microwave burritos. Yeah, I give him a microwave, but he's still got chains on. So